Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Inspiring Minds. Today we have a very special guest with us, CA Sakshi Gupta. Sakshi has been a topper throughout the school and college days. She had secured All India rank 9 in CPT and All India rank 1 in IPCC. She did her articleship from one of the big fours, Deloitte, and her industrial training from Hindustan Unilever. Post CA, she worked with the Boston Consulting Group, one of the top tier management consulting firms. Post this, she worked with TA Associates, a global private equity firm. Currently, she is working with LinkedIn as a senior lead product strategy and investments. She has also founded Consultopreneur, which helps angel investors with their investments. Really excited to have you on this talk show, Sakshi, and heartiest congratulations to you on achieving so much at such a young age. It really sounds like a dream career run for many.
Well, I'm going to take congratulations on the young age, but not on the achievements. I think there's a lot more to do. And I'm happy to be getting such diverse experiences and happy to share whatever learnings I can to help anybody else who's looking for a similar journey.
So let's start with the very beginning. I heard somewhere that you wish to become a doctor in school, right? So how did the transition to CA happen?
So it was a very simple one. My dad's a CA. So, all my school years, I thought I'll become a doctor. But then at 10th, some sort of reality kicks in that whenever you think about higher studies, you should have somebody to guide you achieve wherever you want to. So I think it sort of became a very natural transition for me to sort of look at my dad as a role model. And I think the idea came from that, well, there's a CA in the family, he knows what is to be done. I have always grown up looking at my dad as my role model. So I think probably one of the back thoughts at that time was that if I become a CA, I can be closer to what he is as a person. So I think that prompted my decision. And it's also slightly simpler if you have a parent in the family who might be in a similar profession, because it sort of gives you the right guidance to take, and I really wanted to do that. I did want to become a doctor, but as I started getting to know more about it, more nuances about, well, what it involves, I just realized that it may not be as interesting as I thought about it in the sixth standard. So I think it was just a very logical call at that stage.
Right. I think I can totally relate to the fact that even my father is a chartered accountant, and he also had a very major role to play when I thought of doing my chartered accountancy. Sakshi, you had secured the top rank in IPCC, right? Which is amazing in itself. So what are the 3 things you would suggest to IPCC aspirants so that even they can perform well?
Yes, I think it's a great question. The very first thing I would say is follow the ICAI. Like in terms of their modules, in terms of their mock test papers, they are the Bible. I did not use any other materials apart from ICAI, whether for my all levels of prep, whether it was CPT, IPCC, or final CA. Just use them, follow whatever they are saying, be on close. So I think that's the first one. The second is, I would say, don't lose heart. We've had really bad papers. There are multiple prelims where I gave exams and got less than 40. So I think it's all about the hustle, and the fact that you can have the grit to give the exam even after you've scored less. So just have that heart to go and give your exam and also prepare for it, irrespective of how bad your prep may feel. So I think that was the second one. And I think third is to try to keep a positive mindset all throughout. I think CA is more about a battle in the mind than the intellectual thing, because what you're going through is very high stress, like such amount of information to be given in a very short period of time. So know that it's a hard thing and prepare your mind accordingly, that it's going to be hard. It's not just hard for you. It has been hard for every person who has cleared CA. And there are many people who've done it before. So I think having a positive outlook helps than a negative outlook. At least I personally struggled with keeping a really positive outlook. There were papers which went so bad that I had thought that maybe not giving a group is a better idea. But I would just say that just keep on going through, and I think results will follow.
That's some amazing tips. I mean, I can vouch for all these 3 tips because I have also followed them throughout my CA journey, and it has got like really good results. So Sakshi, you were doing your articleship in one of the big fours. So what motivated you to pivot towards industrial training at HUL, and how was your experience over there?
Yes. So I think starting early, I was in actually the statutory audit team in Deloitte, and I realized that audit is not for me, to be honest. I think it felt slightly uh, a checklist thing for me, and I thought that it might be too early to pick what you like till you have explored more options. And I know industrial training was a way to do this. The way I reached out for industrial training was I sort of looked back and saw which companies are eligible, who were hiring, etc. And I came to know from some of my, seniors in CAs that HUL was trying to create a program of taking industrial interns. And I thought it might be a good exposure to go to the industry and see, well, what are the other kinds of roles CAs are doing. If you continue to stay in big fours, I think after a while you become very great at doing audit, but you may just leave out some other aspects of CA curriculum. Like for example, when I joined HUL, my work for the first 3 months was understanding budgeting. So I was doing a lot of costing work, which is something which you do not get exposure in the normal articleship. So I think that was one of the reasons, which was like to gain exposure in industrial training. I mean, as far as I know, the best way to go about it is to keep on scouting for companies we are coming for and reaching out to them through LinkedIn or through emails that you're interested. Here is your CV. I think the cons of industrial training is that it leaves you with significantly less time for prep compared to your big four articleship or any other place. So that is something to be kept in mind. If you're pushing your prep of CA final to the very last year, my suggestion would be to continue to stay in big fours or in the articleship place you're doing. But if you feel fairly confident of pushing both, then you should do both. For me, HUL was one of the most pivotal experiences. Especially because I was not only working with CAs or with CAs in other companies or with auditors, but with multifunctional people. You know, there were engineers, there were PhDs in supply chain around, there were brand marketers being around, and that sort of opened my mind about different ways of solving a problem and how opinions are important. As CAs, you might become very numbers oriented while you think about things, but slowly you understand, well, customer is also very important, here is what he's thinking, and then you slowly start finding like a holistic solution to all the problems. So I think this actual experience really helped in understanding that I wanted to actually go into strategy, which was something I did post my CA. So I think if HUL hadn't happened, I may not have been at the career path I am at today.
Great. You were also doing consulting at BCG. So what motivated you to pivot towards private equity later on?
Oh, yes. So in my last case in consulting, I was doing a due diligence. So in consulting, you also do due diligence for investment clients where your problem is to go and landscape the market and see, well, what's working, what's not working, how big is the market, who are the players, will the company they plan to invest in grow or not. And I did that piece, and it was by far my most interesting case at BCG. That was a case I actually loved so much that it sort of 4 weeks passed and I didn't realize it. So I realized that I really like doing in-depth industry work. And it was sort of very close to what I was studying at CA, which was more about, well, numbers and valuations, etc. So when this role came by, I think it was a very interesting mix of doing the strategy bit of it as well as so it's the right mixture of depth along with horizontal. So I think I really like that. I think the second reason was that consulting does involve exceptional amount of travel, etc., and I wanted to be back closer to the home. So at least this gave me a place to be back and staying with my parents again, which was something I was looking forward to after traveling to remote places in India for like quite some time.
So Sakshi, I recently conducted a survey on dream profiles on LinkedIn, and a lot of CAs voted for private equity. Since you had made it to this much demanded profile, can you please share an inputs on how can a CA enter into a private equity role?
Yeah. So I think for a fresher, it's very hard to crack. I personally don't know many freshers who have cracked it as their first job, though I definitely know people who have pivoted within a year. So I think there are two paths. I think there are three paths to go into private equity. So the first is go into consulting. So there are multiple private equity firms which hire from consulting. When you become a consultant, if you've spent some time in doing a particular area, like for example, healthcare or tech, you just get some vast amount of experience about what are the problems in this industry, what are all the companies trying to solve for, and hence you become like a very good resource pool for the private equity people who are looking to hire in this area. So one way, if you are really aiming for private equity in the long term, is to actually do consulting for some time. The second route obviously is investment banking because it's a sell side role. You would be doing a similar work as a private equity, but just with an opposite mindset, which is like, hey, you have a company, you are trying to find the best ways for them to raise funds. And then, you can switch on the other side. It's a similar skill set, honestly. So I think investment banking is the place I've seen people transition very easily after a CA and also very easily transition from investment banking to private equity role. Second, the third is to do an MBA. If you go to any of the B schools, you can get directly placed in some of the other PE firms, ones which were grown domestically. So I think the other route is to just do an MBA. I personally feel for CAs, the second route, which is the investment banking route, is the ones which I've seen people transition very easily. Secondly, because investment banking has such a good wealth of the modeling and the similar stakeholder involvement experience, it's a very easy transition to make. From consulting, it's slightly harder to move into private equity because you need some very strong modeling knowledge. You also need really strong skill sets to get work done, which is you do get that in consulting, but I'm just saying that investment banking, it's slightly easier. MBA is always a route. Well, if you want to transition to any career you can take, I think it's a place for many people to transition to different fields.
Right. So Sakshi, what is your current role at LinkedIn? What do you do right now? And what do you think is the importance of platforms like LinkedIn in today's world?
Okay, so my work at LinkedIn involves making strategy for products which LinkedIn has. So, for example, I work with a team of product managers who are developing products at LinkedIn. And my work is to sort of help them create the right strategy of reaching the users or getting the traction they want. So, for example, if let's say LinkedIn is launching stories, my work would be to draft the entire next 12 months, thinking about, well, who are the users we will be reaching out to, what kind of engagement can we expect from them, how can we make these users come back again and again, how do we popularize the product. So the entire MVP, which is market, before you have created the product, that the growth as well as the GTM strategy is something which I own. I work very closely with product managers and my role is very similar to them, but it does not involve that much level of alignment and cross-functional exposure. So I think that is slightly different. But yeah, so I'm a product strategist. To answer the second part of the questions, why are platforms like LinkedIn important? I think there are two things. Firstly, it gives you an identity. So it's a part of you are a part of a social network of professionals. It's very easy for me to know what Jay Bora is doing, how credible is he, what has he done so far. And I think that is very necessary as you're thinking of growing your network. Secondly, there are multiple things you can't know at this stage of your career unless you speak to people. So just having the right set of network and people posting different things helps you. So I think that's how I would say. For freshers and students, it's very important that they can connect with their seniors, know what they did to land in their jobs, just like what you're doing, Jay, right now. So LinkedIn helps you achieve that. So I would say that it's a part of a social change which will help you in growing your network, growing your career. It's all about your professional reputation at some stage. And I believe that whether it's a student or you are an earlier career person or you are in fact probably very experienced also, all of them will find something at LinkedIn to derive value from.
Right. Firstly, Sakshi, I would like to mention that you have a really interesting profile at LinkedIn. I mean, just the fact that I was hearing about your role, it felt really interesting. And second, one thing about LinkedIn, which I noticed that LinkedIn used to be perceived as a job platform, right? Like you go into LinkedIn and you ask for jobs from people. But I think in today's world, it has transitioned into something very much more important than what it used to be. Like you can connect with different sorts of people, not only for jobs, but to first of all learn about diverse things. Second, if you want to get into a particular company or a particular sector, you can connect with relevant people and gain from their experiences, get to know about what the work revolves around in that particular company or in that particular sector, and get an overall view, right? So I personally feel LinkedIn is a very good platform in today's world if you want to grow professionally. It's not just about jobs but also growing yourself as a professional.
I agree. I think it's a difference between a job and a career. A job is just a task, but your career involves a lot of things. I believe that platforms like LinkedIn help you develop your career as opposed to like being good at your job. So yeah, I'm personally very aligned with the vision, which is why I joined here. But I think everybody should be using LinkedIn as a platform for just going ahead in their career in general.
Right. So Sakshi, let's talk about your venture. So what's the story behind Consultapreneur?
So the story is this, that post TA, I met a lot of folks in Bangalore who were high net worth individuals, and I think the issue they faced was that they had purpose to deploy, but they did not know where to deploy the funds because, well, they were not investing a lot of time to find those startups, to find those people who are creating new ideas to invest in. So my work involved, and I was close to the startup ecosystem because of my connects from past experience, my closeness in Bangalore, etc. So that sort of helped me bridge the gap. So I think Consultapreneur was born from that thought and idea. So that's what I do. I basically help angel investors source the right companies to invest in. And I think given that they're also very busy to keep track, I also help them to manage their portfolio. So I think that is a sort of a side thing I have going. And now I also started doing, resume reviews and career consultations, as well as helping people with their B school applications. So I think some of those ancillary things are coming as an additional, but I think that's the primary leg of what I wanted to, what I started with it originally.
Lastly, any words of advice for the aspirants?
For CAs?
Yes.
Well, I would say just one thing, it's a very hard journey. Please, I think the fact that you're trying to do it, give yourself pat on the back. It's a very, very hard course to crack. Not by the fact that you're learning a lot of things, but the fact of the emotional stress involved in finishing the course. So if you are not making through any level, keep the brave face on. You will go through. It's all about the hustle, and this exam is all in the mind. Obviously the intellectual thing matters, but I think what matters more is your grit. For cracking CA, at least, is what I feel. And I would just say that stay positive and keep on working hard. I think those are the only two things which is going to get you to become a CA.
That was some amazing advice. Thank you so much, Sakshi, for taking out time and for sharing your valuable experiences with us. I'm sure it will inspire all the aspirants watching this.
And thank you, Jay, for doing this. I am so happy that we are thinking about giving it back to the community, and happy to be a part of that chain in any way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sakshi. And to all our viewers, do comment down below for any queries. Either Sakshi or me would reply to them. Thank you for watching this. See you next time. Cheers.